My name is Kendall Watts. I'm a former staff sergeant of the United States Army. I served for 11 years, being stationed at Fort Campbell and Fort Hood. That's also where I met my wife. We've been married for 3 years now. And it was a great career, and kind of looking back, I was grateful to have that experience. I was able to kind of gather who I was as a person. I enlisted at 18, straight out of high school, and not really knowing who I was, kind of what I wanted to do. It allowed me to make mistakes early on, but have a great foundation on what command structure looked like, what responsibility looked like, and most importantly, accountability for my actions. It definitely prepared me for my second career here in the fire service. When I was still active duty in the military, there was a motorcycle wreck that was right on 41 Alpha, which is a strip right outside of Fort Campbell. I remember I saw the motorcycle wreck, and I pulled over and I grabbed my first aid kit out of my car that was attached to my IFAC in the military, and I get to the driver and I realized that everything in this kit is really for combat situations and not for your everyday emergency. And I realized sitting there that I had no knowledge of how to help save a life at that moment. And that's when I realized I wanted to make a change. So when I started my transition out of the military, I had my daughter, and I didn't want to watch her be raised through FaceTime. So I had to figure out a second career very quickly so that I could transition out and then be able to support my family on this side. Luckily, we had a family friend who was he's a fire captain in Milton, who highly encouraged me to come to Cobb as a firefighter. He explained that it was no experience needed, and they were going to train me right here on the spot. And he kind of explained to me the job and how it's ever changing, ever evolving, and he sold me his love for the fire service through a few short conversations. So in making my decision on where to call home here in Georgia, I kind of looked around after realizing that fire service was the career for me. And through a lot of research, I realized that between the training that was here, there's a lot of big names that are on the fire circuit that actually teach internationally and nationally. I realized that if I wanted the best training that was going to come in the fire service, I needed to be here in Cobb County. So the transition process from active duty to being a firefighter was very streamlined and easy. And as far as I know it, I was the first Skype candidate that the fire chief of Cobb ever had. Now being in the digital age, we've kind of figured out a way to streamline these processes between the physical, the written test, all your background information and your investigations. They streamlined all of that to make it easier for the member who had to fly in order to accomplish those benchmarks. I work alongside some of the smartest men that I could ever have thought about as firefighters and fire leaders in this profession. It's one of those things where if you want to get better, you get around a crew of guys who are way better. The men and women that I served around in the military were definitely resembled here in the men and women in the ranks in Cobb County. So I felt like I had found the family that I had lost when I left the military. And numerous calls here, and I've realized and I've been able to see all the help and the good work we've been able to do for the citizens that really, when they call us, it's because they've met their match with whatever emergency they're at. And it's our job to come in and be the quiet professionals and take control of the situation. I think the biggest thing is to reach deep down inside and kind of figure out why you enlisted originally, and then find the thing that aligns with that. With me, the call to service and the duty to my country and to the fellow man is kind of what called me to my original service, and I was able to find that here in Cobb County as a firefighter. Accountability is probably going to be your biggest characteristic that you need to kind of possess. To be able to be held accountable and hold others accountable, and understand that we don't always have the right answer. Our job is to find the right answer. And then also our job is to train so that when the situation arises in which we don't have the right answer, we know how to be flexible, and we can improvise, adapt, and overcome to any situation. And that is what I pride myself as a firefighter here at Cobb County.